Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of Aussie Tech Crypto, a show about cryptocurrency from an Australian viewpoint. I'm your host, Jason Oakley, and this is my co-host, Will Tomkinson. Hey, Will.
Howdy, howdy. How we doing?
I like your background today.
It's exactly like yours.
Yeah. So you can do it this time? Ready?
No, because it'll still...
Okay.
Hang on. You're on the complete wrong side now. How's that happen? You've switched sides. Anyway.
How's things going? Good?
Yeah, not too bad, except literally like 3 seconds before we're about to hit record, we had a blackout.
This lovely Monday night?
Yeah, again. It's, not like we had any problems today or anything when we tried to do it.
No,
you ever had one of those computers that mysteriously overclocks itself and you can't figure out why?
Yep.
Yep.
I got a phone call. They've sent my new computer to Australia Post to send to me.
Well, that won't end badly.
The guy rang up and he's like, "Oh, hey, did you know you ordered a computer that's got an RGB cooling fan on the CPU that spits out pretty colors and stuff, but you don't have a side window on your
on the case?"
Your case. I'm like, "That's okay. I don't want to see pretty colors and stuff. I just picked a cooler that looked good." He said, "Oh yeah, it's a really good CPU cooling fan, and I think it's got liquid cooling and stuff.
Water cooling, yeah.
But it also has pretty colors." And he said, "I just won't connect up the LED lights." And like, "Thank you very much." I mean, the current one I've got here, I didn't specifically pick because of colors, but it's got this fan at the back of it near the power supply that's got this bright blue that's going constantly. And I tend to game and stuff in the dark, so you can see going down into dark tunnels and stuff. And when you got this bright blue light, I'm like, I'll just hide that under the edge of the desk over there so it's not distracting.
And it's always blue and it's always really bright.
Why is it always blue? Why do people love blue?
I don't know.
It's the worst colour.
Well, mine's over the back side of my table, which is like behind my monitors and stuff, mainly so you can't hear it. It's got like 14 fans in it. But every single one of them is a coloured fan, and you can't disable it because when the fan's spinning, they make colours. It's like, oh, for crying out loud. When I turn the light off in here, it's still like daylight.
We don't need bling on our gaming and mining computers, thanks.
No.
You don't
not
care.
At all. But, oh well. It happens.
You do. Each week we hope to bring you interesting information about the crypto world and what it's all about from a newbie perspective and also Australian. So we'll have Australian stories, so probably enough crypto podcasts from Europe and America and stuff. This episode we talk about what are popular coins, what coins are we investing in, what is a blockchain anyway. But first, some news. Australia's largest banks have confirmed they do not currently have plans to block their customers from buying Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Hooray! Some UK banks have instituted bans on buying cryptocurrency with credit cards. Australia's big four banks are not yet planning a clampdown. Bitcoin plunged below 9,000 US on Friday, and I think it's about 7,000 Australian today even. This differs from the approach taken by UK-based Lloyds Banking Group and US banks JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Citi. Those banks in recent days have announced they will ban customers from using credit cards to purchase digital currencies. And I've actually seen on Reddit and other forums and Facebook, people are saying, well, that's it, I've left that bank. I've now joined a new bank that's going to let me send fiat to crypto exchanges to buy stuff because I'm not going to put up with banks that won't let me do that. Would it be enough to make you switch banks, Mr. T?
No, because ING aren't stupid enough to do that in the first place.
Right.
No, look, it's not like it's hard to work around. Just pay into a PayPal account.
Yep.
Problem solved. But yeah, look, I get it. I suppose if it's your business, like if you're doing it, and a lot of people do, they run crypto as their business. If that's the thing and you're doing it every day, then yeah, absolutely, you need to be unrestricted in that area. You can't have restricted access to your own money.
Yep. Let you do what you want with your own money. If someone's trying to do something fraudulent, sure, block it. But If it's just, Joe Smith who wants to send $50 to Binance to buy some Ethereum or something, just let him do it.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a whole argument of if it's a credit card, it's not your money, it's the bank's money, so they can do whatever they want with it, which I kind of understand. But at the same time, it's like, well, to a point, yes, but at the same time, that's my line of credit that's already secured and already approved, so you don't really have a say over what I can do with it. So there's sort of two different ways of looking at it. End of the day, I think the banks that if they have done it to the wrong customers, they're going to have a mass walkout, and they're either going to change their policies or they're going to have to deal with it. Something like that's going to hurt a bank anyway. Once somebody leaves, they're not going to come back. It's too hard to swap banks and then swap back again. If you leave a bank, you're not coming back. So by the time these guys do their figures next quarter, higher turnover customers, it's going to be too late to do anything about it.
See how it goes. Wait till Bitcoin goes back up and quadruples its price back to where it was.
Yeah, so if they want their money then.
People are not going to buy Bitcoin until it's going up high, which is the wrong idea. But a lot of people are like, that's it, I'm selling right now because I've just lost 3/4 of my money. And the point is, no, this is not the sell time, this is the buy time. No, I've lost all this money. No, technically you haven't. Your money is still there, and if it goes back up again, you can get your money back, and it probably will. But if you see the money going down and you sell it at a lower value, you have definitely lost that money if you cash out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stock exchange. It's no different than any other stock exchange in the world. Annoyingly, though, because it has tanked even more, I'm not even bothered mining now. It's killed my Ethereum. I was mining Ethereum, and I was getting about $2 a day. Which was, for the sake of having a PC sitting there doing it and not cost me anything to do it, I might as well. But it's down to 74 cents a day or something now, so it's not even worth doing it now.
Yeah. So, and that's with 4 cards.
Well, that's actually with 4 cards in this. They're only low-end cards, but it's 4 cards in this computer and 1 in the work computer. So it's halved in the matter of a week. So it's sort of, there's no point even doing it. It's not worth it for that price.
Yeah. ANZ Bank told the ABC that it does not prohibit customers buying digital or cryptocurrencies or accepting them as a form of payment. However, their spokesman said, we monitor transactions for unusual behaviour to protect against potential fraud and in line with regulatory responsibilities. NAB said it might not allow certain cryptocurrency transactions to proceed if security concerns arise. To reduce the risk for our customers and help protect their money, some card transactions may not be processed. Westpac and CBA. Westpac spokeswoman confirmed we currently have no restrictions on credit card use to purchase cryptocurrency. However, she would not comment on the bank's future plans and the potential for a ban, similar to Westpac's US and UK counterparts. And the Commonwealth Bank didn't respond at all, so we don't know what their thoughts are.
That's because it's called the Combank. They're looking in the wrong spot.
Yeah. Coin of the week. We had one of these last week, and it seems pretty popular, so we'll go another one.
Sorry, I'm just playing with the green screen. My bottle's empty.
All of those listening on audio, that was wonderful.
Yeah, visual gags work well. See.
Coin of the week, we're not recommending purchasing it, just explaining what it is and what it can be used for, particularly if it has good real-world use. If you want to see people shilling coins on 5-minute YouTube videos, there's billions of those that you shouldn't watch, but they're available if you really need that kind of thing. We're not going to do it. We're just going to talk about them and explain some things. A coin is probably not worth investing in if it does not have a unique or useful real-world application. So the one that I've chosen tonight is Steem, S-T-E-E-M, and it's from a website called Steemit, STEEMIT.com, which is a blogging and social networking website on top of the Steem Circle Chain database. The Steem blockchain produces Steem and Steem dollars, which are tradable tokens users obtain for posting, discovering, and commenting on interesting comment. So it's kind of like Reddit, but instead of upvoting, you can transfer Steem cryptocurrency to people who've got really good articles. The Steam concept was described in the company's white paper released in March 2016. The general concept is similar to other blogging websites or social news websites like Reddit, but the text content is saved in a blockchain. Using a blockchain enables rewarding comments and posts with secure tokens of value. Images can be uploaded and hosted on Steemit. Other multimedia content must be embedded from other web hosts. For formatting, there's a WYSIWYG editor. Users can also opt to use Markdown formatting with HTML elements. User accounts can upvote posts and comments, and the users who get upvoted can receive a monetary reward in a cryptocurrency token named Steem and US dollar peg tokens called Steem dollars. People are also rewarded for curating, discovering popular content. Curating involves voting comments and post submissions. Vote strength and curation rewards are influenced by the amount of Steem power held by the voter. Steemit has a reputation system where new accounts start with a reputation of 25, and accounts received votes can influence its reputation up and down, incentivizing online etiquette and interaction with the community. The Steem blockchain has two tokens, Steem and Steem dollars. There's also vested or stored interest known as Steem power. Steem power is strictly for internal use in the Steem community, while the tokens are used for stored value and trading. And earlier when I looked tonight, although this has probably changed since this afternoon, it's probably about 5 hours ago, Steem to Bitcoin value, one Steem is 0.000478 Bitcoins or $3.04 US dollars. And I've bought 10.9 Steem recently. I traded in my VeChain, which people probably tell me was a bad idea because VeChain for the win and stuff. But I don't want to spend any more fiat just now, and I had to trade something, so I picked that one. So what I did was sign up for a Steemit account, and in the future I'm going to post. If I get approved, you have to get approved by them before you can start posting. Put Aussie Tech Crypto on there and see how it goes with Steem.
I've actually been signed up for a couple of weeks now, and I'm still waiting on approval. I'm still waiting for approval. Yeah, I signed up a couple of weeks ago. I've known about this for a couple of weeks. I can't remember. Someone told me about it, but yeah, I'm still waiting for approval. And I emailed them just to confirm. They said there's up to a 3-month waiting period at the moment.
Whoa! So, yeah, we'll have a lot of episodes to put on there by then.
But I was just reading they've just been picked up by Binance now. So.
Yep, that's where I bought my Steem on.
So that's interesting.
As soon as I saw that notification from Binance, I was like, mine.
Yeah, they were literally like an hour ago or something they did it.
Or something else we should talk about, things that's happened recently. I've mentioned in the past that I bought some Ray blocks, XRB, from BitGrail. And there's been a big kerfuffle happen with BitGrail in the recent week. I don't know if you saw about that, did you?
Only what you posted in the Facebook page. If you want to keep up with what we're talking about, most of this stuff we've discussed during the week on our Facebook page or on our Discord chat as well. So if you join us there, you can sort of get ahead of the curve a bit.
Yeah. So I bought about 8 Ray blocks, and then just left it sitting there for a while because Binance had announced that it had been voted as a coin to add onto Binance, which they've finally done. It's taken them about 6 or 7 weeks or something, but they finally done that. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to have Ray blocks before Binance bought it, and then hoping that more people would buy Ray blocks once it got to Binance, because it was another place that you could suddenly buy it, because there was only 2 or 3 places you could get it at the time. So I did that, and I had 8 of them. And then the guy who runs BitGrail said, "Oh, totes, we've just been talked to by some legal type people, and we've locked down all of the accounts. You could join with just make up a username and password, well, your email address and a password to join and buy stuff. But now if you want to get your money back out, you have to upload ID. So we need a couple of forms of ID, photo of you with the ID, and also a recent bill that's got your home address on it to prove who you are. Because there's a system called Know Your Customer, they call KYC, and to prevent money laundering, which they thought could possibly happen, they had to put this in place. They've announced that anybody who is not in the EU Once their ID has been approved, they got 2 weeks to get their money out of BitGrail. You can transfer it to somewhere else that's got Ray blocks, or you can convert it to Bitcoin and then take it out. Now, there was some discussion and confusion because the guy is Italian and the English is not so good. And so it sounded like either you had 2 weeks from straight away to get your money out, which you couldn't because you had to be ID'd. And apparently there's only a couple of people going through thousands and thousands of people's ID at the moment to verify if they're real or not, which could take a while. He also said that you could change your Ray blocks or whatever you have on there into Bitcoin and take it out without verification. So I converted my Ray blocks back into Bitcoin, sold at a terribly low value, and traded at a very low value, and then found out that that one wasn't the case. You can't take any money out whatsoever until you're fully verified. So then Ray blocks went up in price. And so I was like, well, I better convert back to Ray blocks because Bitcoin's going down, Ray blocks going up. So I convert back, and instead of having 8 Ray blocks, now I've got 5.8 because the price went up. So my Bitcoin was less Ray blocks. So I'm just having to sit there, and I log in once a day or so and check if it still says you're at verification level 1, which means you can extract out 0.00 Bitcoin per 24 hours. If you get to level 2, you can take out, I think it's 0.1 Bitcoins worth of money. And if you get, if you're fully verified, plus you have 2-factor authentication, you can take out some more. So everyone at the moment is twiddling their thumbs. A lot of people have got onto forums to scream their heads off and going, what the hell's going on? Is he dodgy? Is he trying to take our money? Does he want our ID for some other nefarious reason? Nobody knows. There's a lot of speculation happening. But I've uploaded my ID, which I've had to do for most of the other exchanges. So fingers crossed, I just have to wait it out until something happens. And a lot of people are not being very helpful on forums. They're like, lol, why did you buy with BitGrail? It was dodgy from the first place, and there wasn't really any reason to think that. So, and also people like, lol, you bought XRB, what's wrong with you? Obviously, my coin is better than that, whatever it happened to be, which is not helpful to people who are currently worried about the state of their money and whether they're going to get it out. For me, it works out to about $173, so it's not nothing, but if I lost it, I could probably cope. But just another thing to be aware of if you're investing. If you're not in the EU and you're on BitGrail, you need to get your account verified with your documents. Otherwise, he's going to shut down your account, and whatever you've got left there will probably be converted to Bitcoin, and you won't get it back, from what I gather. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm trying to gather from his posts that seem to be confusing English to a lot of people.
Or to everybody.
Yes.
And speaking of confusing things, last week we talked about, at the end of the show, talked about Australia Coin.
Yep, Australia.
Australia Coin, Straya. Now, when we discussed it, it was about 24 hours old. They'd only been up for about a day. I had missed the first day because I was rearranging my computer and my computers were down. So I started CPU mining that second day.
Yep.
Which is all fine dandy. I got 100 coins, something like that, 100 coins in payout. And then I came back the next morning and I still only had 100 coins. I'm like, what on earth? So it turns out from that sort of 48-hour window roughly onwards, the predominantly Chinese, not only Chinese, but it's predominantly Chinese, had got involved and fired up their ASIC miners.
Yep.
So what an ASIC miner is, it's a purpose-built piece of hardware. Now, when a coin starts off, you can use a CPU because the CPU does basic mathematical calculations pretty efficiently.
The algorithm is not that complex.
Yeah, it's a relatively small number to work with, so the CPU can handle it. As the algorithm gets more complicated, you step up into your GPUs, and GPUs handle maths better. That's their primary function. They display graphics, but they display graphics by doing maths, effectively. And the thing is, a GPU is good at a lot of things, but it's not great at anything. It's a very good all-rounded piece of hardware that does graphics, it does maths, it does a lot of these things it needs to do, but because it does all these things, it doesn't do any one particular thing well. These ASIC miners are a dedicated piece of hardware. Now, there's all different types and styles depending on what you're mining. There's CPU ones, then they go up into, there's like a Bitcoin style, there's like an Ethereum style, there's a Pascal style, and they're all designed, they basically run off a Raspberry Pi firmware. Like the actual controller board is not much more than that, but they're a shoebox size, and there's usually four cards in there, and each card usually has 50 dedicated GPU chips on there, and each one of those dedicated GPU chips is pointed at a particular thing. So as I said, whether it's a Bitcoin, whether it's a Zencoin, whether it's whatever, they're all designed to work that particular algorithm that chip wants to work with. Now, when these things come out, they've always been frowned upon from the average miner because their hashing rate's insane, and they just do ridiculous amounts compared to what a normal can. From a business point of view, they're great, but when they first come out, they were relatively cheap. Like you could pick one up for a few $100s. Now, even for an outdated one, which would have been perfect for the Australia coin, but even for an outdated ASIC miner now, you're looking at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So you've got to be sure you're going to get your money back on that sort of investment. So even the ones that are 2 or 3 months old, they're past the use by date because they're just not turning over what they were. So what happened was we went from, instead of following the progression nice and smooth, went from CPU mining, which anybody could do on any old laptop, theoretically with the normal mugs out there doing normal mining like they normally would because that's all they know, they're not going to know any better. We should have been at CPU for a few weeks at least. And then it would have gone to basic GPU, so anybody, effectively any computer that had a graphics card in it would be able to do it. And then the hashing rate would slowly get higher and higher and higher. But because they got these ASICs involved 48 hours into it, it went from, I remember when I woke up on the start of the second day, we were at 128 difficulty. By lunchtime, we're 256. By dinner time, we're at 512. And by the time I went to bed, it was 1,024.
24.
And then about then, when the ASICs miners got involved, instead of going that gradual progression, which would have taken a while, it basically overnight went from 1,024 up to something like 1.2 million or whatever it was. Like overnight, it went absolutely nuts.
Crazy.
It went to the point that within 24 hours, now keeping in mind that my system doesn't have fantastic video cards, but I am able to mine Ethereum relatively simply. Not a lot, a couple of bucks a day, but I'm able to do it. I can't mine Australia coin. It's too hardcore for my system to be able to mine it. So we've gone from this supposed coin that was for the people to this insanely heavily hard to mine coin.
Yep.
Now, the upside to that, Australia coin now actually has a value. And it's not determined by the market. It's actually determined by the holders of Australia coin. We've basically determined what the value is currently worth. As of a couple of hours ago, they're about roughly $1 a coin currently. Now, 12 hours ago, 24 hours ago, if I go back to this time yesterday, they were only worth 10 cents a coin. And if I go back 24 hours before that, they're worth about 1 cent a coin. So in the matter of 3 days, it's gone from 1 cent a coin to $1 a coin.
Are you saying this is the new Bitcoin? Should we start investing?
Well, you can't invest.
Not on an exchange.
You can buy it. Like you can trade somebody. Like you can go on to the Australia Coin buy sell trade group, and you can PayPal it, or you can physically trade that way.
Yep.
But they're not available for sale in terms of like a normal exchange sort of deal. So I think because of that, partly is part of the reason that they're actually worth something. Like $1 each isn't. That's not horrendous money for something that was worth nothing a week ago. Literally nothing. It was nothing more than effectively just a bit of fun. Like, it had no value at all a week ago. Now it's worth $1 a coin. I mean, I got 100 coins sitting there. I wish I could have had. I could have had. Well, yeah. I mean, I could have had 500 sitting there had I have not been shuffling my computer around and been mining a day earlier. But it's just interesting how everyone's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's not worth anything." Blah blah blah. It's just a bit of fun.
It is Bitcoin. That's what I was like when Bitcoin came out.
I was exactly the same with Bitcoin, but the only reason I did it is because I already had the mining set up because I was mining Ethereum. I thought, well, that's using GPU. I've got spare CPU sitting there doing nothing. Screw it. I'll just chuck it on the CPU and be done with it.
Yep.
So it's
it's doing pretty well when just about every single other coin has dropped to a quarter or a tenth its value a week or two ago.
Yeah, and this is actually picking up. I'm actually just looking at my hashing rates from last night. Well, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon was the last time I tried to mine.
Yep.
And I was earning... I was earning 0.12 of a coin a day. So it would take me 8 days just to mine one coin, and that was 24 hours ago. And I know for a fact it's got a lot harder since then. So, it's just gone absolutely nuts. But it just goes to show you, it's that thing that everybody's like, no, it's just a scam. It's just another one of those stupid things that's never going to do anything. And, well, even without any backing at all, without any infrastructure, without any exchange, without anything at all, it now has its own value because people are vested in it.
Yep. It's crazy.
And people are trading, like you go on the buy, sell, stop site, people are trading cars, they're trading all sorts of stuff for it. Like, it's insane. Wow. Yeah, there's a guy on here, he wants 100, they're called, there's 3 levels of currency. There's NARS, like NAH, like nah. That's the main coin currency, that's the whole, and then there's... I have to fire up my wallet, I think. I don't know if I can remember what the other ones are called. But then there's 2 different step downs from that. One's a 10th of that, and one's a 10th of that. Nah, that's right. Nah is the main coin. Yeah is the one that's worth a 10th of a nah. And then there's, I think it's Dunno, which is worth a 10th of a yeah. So,
Truth, crikey.
But no, people are selling cars and motorbikes and go-karts and swapping. Like, there's this guy who's going to have a sausage sizzle at Bunnings on the weekend, and so you can actually trade him a coin now, and then he'll email you a code. Then you can go to Bunnings on the weekend and get a free sausage. Like, it's getting pretty nuts. You
can't get more Australian than that.
It's getting pretty nuts. It really is. They've got a Discord channel. They've got a Reddit. So look them up on Facebook. If you go to the Facebook Australia Coin, you can find all their other sites there. AustraliaCoin.org is their website. You can find a link to their Reddit page and all that, which is actually it's a really interesting read because it's very linear, and within such a short period of time, there's not a lot to read, and you can very quickly see how this progression has stepped in. So it's good fun.
Insane. Some other news I just remembered. Samsung is currently the top chip maker in the world and is quietly expanding into a new market, cryptocurrency mining. Samsung isn't mining coins itself, but is using its massive manufacturing capacity to produce so-called ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits, for use in mining rigs. These chips are designed to just mine coins, making them vastly more efficient than a stack of GPUs. Cryptocurrencies have different features, values, and management features, but most of them can all be mined. To mine coins, your machine has to complete complex mathematical calculations as proof of work. This computing power goes toward processing transactions on the crypto's network, and in return, you're rewarded with a small amount of currency. However, calculations get more difficult over time. That means you need more powerful and efficient ways to mine it. So how about that? You can get a Samsung has confirmed it's working on cryptocurrency mining chips, but it refuses to discuss its specific partners. Previous reports claim it's a Chinese firm, which could make sense. The low cost of electricity there has made it a hub of cryptocurrency mining. The unnamed partner would need to buy a substantial number of chips to affect Samsung's bottom line. The company brought in $69 billion in chip sales last year, most of which were used in smartphones. This was the largest chunk of its revenue, even more than smartphone sales.
Yeah,
everyone's jumping on the bandwagon.
It was always going to happen. I'm surprised, honestly, that it's taken as long as it has. I would have expected a lot of these companies to actually be mining, like Google, Apple, Samsung. These guys all have massive server farms sitting there. You can't tell me that they couldn't spare a container load of servers with a few ASIC cards in them. You know, like, I don't know. It's probably a good thing they haven't, honestly, but I'm surprised. Yeah. But, see, this is the thing. Once you take something like Bitcoin at the moment, which only really... you look at a consumer-grade system, unless you effectively have 4, 6, 8, 10 1080p or 1080 cards, 1080s, yeah. You effectively can't really mine them. Okay, you take an ASIC box, which is a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 unit, which really is about the same price as buying all those cards anyway. Uses a lot less power, does the job faster, 10, 20, 30 times faster because that's what it's designed to do. So this box, you've gone from mining, I don't know, $25 a day to $200 a day, and you've outlaid $5,000. It's not, not that hard. But the thing is, once everybody has those, then what do you do?
Yeah.
What's
the next evolution? Quantum computing.
Well, the thing is, the value of the coin's only worth the availability of the coin. So the more coins are in circulation, the less it's worth. So why is everybody trying to create more of these coins? It's actually debasing their own value.
Yeah.
There's actually, you want enough coins in circulation to keep it hard to mine, but you don't want so many coins that it prompts people to want to mine them. And when that happens, it will bring the value of them down because there'll be an abundance of them. Even though it's still hard to mine, there'll be an excess to the point where only the people who are mining huge amounts of them have them, and they're not worth anything to anybody else, so nobody's going to want them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but to me, it's sort of, you got to be really careful. There's going to be a tipping point. And it's not just Bitcoin. Look at, I think it's Zimbabwe. Some of those countries, with their physical money, they have $100 million notes because, you can go and, if you're lucky, that'll buy you 2 litres of milk because all they did, the government said, hey, we're in a depression, let's print more money. Well, okay, that gets more money into people's hands, but the money's worth less. Literally, it's worth less. It's worthless money. It doesn't have the value it had because, given the fact it's not backed by anything in the first place, you've got nothing to trade off against. You just have this excess supply of paper notes floating around that even the homeless people don't bother to pick up off the street.
Yeah.
No.
And for our main topic, what are some popular coins? Bitcoin, obviously. Ethereum and Litecoin are some major coins that people invest in. They're pretty safe. But they might not necessarily go up a lot, of course, unless this current dip suddenly turns the other way and heads straight back up again, then might be worth it. What coins are we investing in? Well, Mr. T hasn't got any yet. His mind his, I think.
I'm waiting on a couple of confirmations back. There is a couple I'm looking at buying, but I'm waiting on the whole confirmation from the exchange thing.
Yep. For me, I've got Neo, which is a Chinese version of Ethereum we talked about in the last show. Walton Chain, WTC. Power Ledger is POWR, which is supposedly going to be used for solar. If you have solar on your house, your excess solar, rather than feeding it back into the grid and going to your company for pennies, you'll be able to sell it using power crypto to your neighbors. So your excess solar could go to people who don't have it.
Obviously, that's available for buying. Now, last I checked, you couldn't buy that.
Yep. Stellar Lumens, which is XRM, and of course Steam, which we've talked about.
I want to sell Lumens just because I like Lumens. Lumens are cool.
The problem, don't join the Stellar Lumens Facebook group, because you join the official one, and every day somebody has created a fake Stellar Lumens account and then posts your Facebook profile to their page with your photo in a large post saying, "Congratulations, Jason has been awarded 1,000 Stellar Lumens. Click here to collect your money." And I've reported so many of them to Facebook. It seems every day another one pops up with the Stellar Lumens logo called Stellar Lumens on the page or group or whatever, and puts my photo on there without my permission. And I asked Facebook to take it down. I blocked them. Next day, next one, they create a new one. Next day, another one. Get a bit annoyed with that. I don't know why they picked Stellar Lumens, but they've decided to post everybody's personal
Probably because it's not really popular and it's going to fly under the radar, but it's just popular enough that enough people are going to see it.
Yeah. And it's probably somebody who's bought Stellar Lumens and they want the value to go up, so they're creating more info and news about it and awareness. The people are like, oh, I keep seeing these people getting a wood with Stellar Lumens. Maybe I should buy some of that, and his value goes up. Good luck to you, Mr. Scammer Shill person, but I'm not going with it. Finish off, what is a blockchain? This is what all of the cryptos are based on. A blockchain is a distributed database existing on multiple computers at the same time. They're constantly growing as new sets of records or blocks are added to it. Each block contains a timestamp and a link to the previous block, so they actually form a chain. The database is not managed by any particular body. Instead, everyone in the network gets a copy of the whole database. Old blocks are preserved forever, and new blocks are added to the ledger irreversibly, making it impossible to manipulate by faking documents, transactions, and other information, which is why people are using them for contracts and stuff going forward. All blocks are encrypted in a special way, so everyone can have access to all the information, but only a user who has a special cryptographic key is able to add a new record to a particular chain. As long as you remain the only person who knows the key, no one can manipulate your transactions. In addition, cryptography is used to guarantee synchronization of copies of the blockchain on each computer or node in the network. You can think of a blockchain as a digital medical record. Every record is a block which has a label stating the date and time when the record was entered. The medical history is extremely important for diagnosis and treatment purposes, so neither the doctor nor the patient should be able to modify the records already made. Nevertheless, the doctor owns a private key that allows him to make new records, and the patient owns a public key that allows him to access the records anytime. This method makes the data both accessible and secure. So blockchain is by definition independent, transparent, and secure. The advantages of such a distributed ledger are obvious, being it cost and risk reduction, data security, or transactions transparency. Companies from most industries can surely benefit from this new technology. So it's a database on everyone's computer.
Yeah, it's not new technology really. It's new implementation of it, but they used to do it. I remember you used to have that folding at home and that sort of stuff where you'd, SETI and all that sort of stuff. Whenever you weren't using your computer, you could set your screensaver up and they'd send you some codes and your computer would do some work on those. And so it's the same principle, really. It's just a re-implementation of the same idea.
Yeah. Those you didn't get much reward from it, except for you're doing good by helping them work out proteins in science so that they could investigate and maybe discover a cure for something, or maybe find an alien for SETI project. But now this is being used in everyday things. And
at least the folding at home one had a cool screensaver than with it. The screensaver actually showed you what was happening. It was showing you.
I remember a guy at a university put it on all of the university computers in a lab and got fired because he was generating.
Well, he just murdered their bandwidth.
Where's our bandwidth and why are our CPUs running hot all day? I don't know what. I don't. Oh, there we go.
Well, we had that on the. We actually did the when I was back in 2000, 99, 2000. That was when the SETI one was the thing.
Yep.
I remember putting that on the servers at work. We went away for Christmas for had 2 weeks off. And I fired up all the servers and ran it on the servers for 2 weeks, just because they weren't doing anything else.
Well, at the time, the SETI and folding at home was happening. I was working at a university in Sydney and had access to computer labs, but I was like, it would be fun, but no, I'm not going to do that. And then I saw the news article where a guy had been fired and got in serious trouble for it. I was like, I made a great choice here.
I remember reading that article, and I also remember thinking, I don't think that actually happened. I think it's just a precautionary tale. I think it's a thing saying that if you do this, you will end up being fired.
by this fictional person was.
Well, yeah, basically. I mean, I was working. Well, I wasn't working. We were doing lectures at the Melbourne Uni for Melbourne University of Technology for, at the time, was home security and remote monitoring and remote cameras, that sort of stuff. We were one of the first, where I was working in Melbourne, we were one of the first, consumer grade stores to get involved in that side of things. And as it wasn't until you started doing something like that where you had to have half a dozen systems running to show remote access and remote things like that you realise just how fragile a uni network actually is. Like, we were at the mercy of the uni network actually working long enough to host a seminar. It was ridiculous.
Crazy. Anyway, visit our website at aussietechcrypto.com and send us an email from the Contact Us form on the site, or jump onto Discord to talk to us. There's a link on the website for that as well. And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
This show is a part of the Aussie Tech Heads podcasting network. You can listen to us at aussietechradio.com. We're not licensed advisors, so please don't invest your life savings in anything we say on the show. You can contact us at feedback@aussietechcrypto.com. Visit the website aussietechcrypto.com. Thanks for listening to Aussie Tech Crypto. Tune in each week for more fun and information.